It's its own form of martial arts, just like Muay Thai, just like karate, just like jujitsu. It's became its own style of fighting, really. It's became its own martial art. Yes. So let me ask you a question. When you started doing all that, and you said your coach really helped you, is that where you, like you said before, that's where you've also learned, you also know weaponry. Is that where you learned weaponry from?
Yeah.
Because he was
teaching Kirby Kabang.
Yeah.
And he had two of the greatest swordsmen, Bruce and Steve. Forgot their last name. I apologize, guys. But they one of them used to guard the king in Thailand.
Oh, wow.
So his sword fighting skills are
probably pretty good.
Don't mess with that guy.
He's
like you're messing with Donnie DeSanto.
Not bad,
Forget it.
So, you're there. What was your goal with starting that?
After I had that humbling experience, I realized that there was a lot more of a style of learning. Right? Like I had to humble myself and not be muscling up so much, because back then we were muscling up. But as we looked and progressed on studying our heroes during that time, we realized they're not muscling up.
No,
they're setting up. They're setting up people with combos.
And who was a couple? Just name off like two or three. Okay.
Champuk. There's this one guy called Deadly Kisser. You would literally, before he wanted to break you and hurt you, he'd give you a kiss right on the forehead or whatever, on the head, face, and then he'd go in there, knock you out, or break you, and end the fight.
And that's like me myself. One of the things I've really learned. Even really before I started getting into martial arts, with actually going into either karate dojo or here or wherever, and I was just maybe just training with other people and things like that, and sparring, that you see people just over there going like that. I'm over there and I'm talking to you. I'm just okay, we're gonna fight, and I'm loose. And I'm very calm.
That's interesting. That's you're a calm type of guy. So when the situation comes, not me, man. There's personalities, right? Like some of us get real cocky, but my martial arts skills that I learned the most good and how to do is turn off, turn on.
Huh? See, that's what I do. But my turn off and turn on is during the fight. I'm calm when I'm back, but once I go in, it's and then I step back and I'm like, okay, here we go. But when I go in, it's just like a tiger just prowling around. He knows that he can sit there and pounce at any time. Right. And that's what I like to do. But that's a method. Me. Yeah.
Because everybody has to do their own methods. Right? Like I got my own methods. I teach you guys how to do certain methods. That way you can do certain methods that you like.
Coaches do different breathing techniques and, different stance and things like that, because it's funny is, nobody has their original style of fighting. No. They've all learned from different styles, and it's who you're talking to. That's like the Shotokan karate style here in the Northwest, in the Pacific Northwest. It's not Shotokan, it's Shotokan. And when they go into different tournaments, you can always tell because they fight totally different. And when they do their karate. Yeah, when they do their katas, their Shotokan's totally different than all the other styles of karate, because how it was taught.
Right.
So how long was you in there training before you realized that, what, maybe I do want to fight?
I got into fighting probably in high school. Once I went into high school, 10th grade. Beginning of 10th grade, I started getting into fighting, but I was already doing amateur stuff.
Okay.
Earlier on, like I did boxing and I did karate and Shotokan tournaments, Taekwondo tournaments, So, and that's it. I did other arts too. I did Taekwondo.
Yeah. And
So,
I see that in your training.
I did wrestling.
Yeah. I see that in your training here that you can, that you're showing different things and,
Yes.
you're not, but that's what makes good,
Yes.
different fighters.
Well, now the knowledge I learned from physical training and the aspect of how to use things as tools, then you realize you can pick and choose and use it
when you want
to. And if you could learn to tweak styles, you can literally become more. You don't need to be showboaty.
Yeah.
You just showed somebody a skill that they haven't seen and they get excited about it.
Yeah. That's like,
get excited about it. So
yeah, that's like my old karate teacher. And it makes sense now, she goes, if you're fighting somebody and they want to fight on a football field, as they're back away and they're coming with kicks, fight them in a phone booth. If they want to fight close, fight them on a football field. Take away what they want to do,
because that's what they want to use that to their advantage.
Yeah, and I always thought, and that's stuck with me. If they want to fight on the football field, fight them in a phone booth.
That's funny that you say that, because that's what promoters do when they put big rings and small rings.
Yeah.
They want to see you get knocked out more with the smaller rings.
Bring it in close,
you can't run.
Yeah. You can only skip.
Something's gonna break.
Yeah, you can only skip. So you're in the 10th grade. High school age,
just getting started in fighting game,
like actual fighting.
Yeah, like into the ring. Well, I've been in the ring,
but this was,
this is the actual Muay Thai striking game.
And what was your age?
Oh, what?
14,
17?
15? Oh, 17?
Yeah, because I was old.
Okay, you was a little bit older.
At that time I came a little bit. 17.
See, I never graduated because if I did graduate, because I was held back and I started older, because the way the birthday was, I would have been old enough to go to a bar. And that's serious. I would have been 21.
It's because of my adoption and whatnot. And I was, and I had to learn the language. So it took me like 2 to 3 years to learn the language.
Yeah.
And I got held back 2 to 3 years because people thought I was DD, bro, and put me in a special ed class when in reality I just didn't know English.
Well, no, and that's the problem.
And they just thought that for several years. I was like, what's going on?
Same thing with me. It's they're now learning. Like even my wife. I'm sorry that I'm bringing her up so much, but it actually helps. It helps, because she goes, everybody learns different and you have to learn. Are you a vision? You have to sit there and see it. Or do you have to hear it? Do you have to read it? Do you actually have to have hands on? Mine is visual.
Yeah.
And I had to teach myself how to read. And actually how I taught myself how to read was reading Black Belt Magazine, Kung Fu Illustrated, all these.
Comics for me.
It was something I was interested in, in comics. Yeah. Like my brother, he learned how to read Sports Illustrated and things like that. So let me ask you a question. Your first real fight.
Yeah.
How was it? Like, was your mindset ready for that fight? Was you a little bit nervous because of the fight?
It was a Washington fight, and I actually forgot the cat's name, but I was nervous. I was nervous for the first year of fighting because I couldn't expect, as a fighter, you want to control things and you expect things to go. And I realized that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You go in there and anything goes.
That's like Joe over there right now. She was fighting this whole time and now she's passed out over there, which is hilarious. Yeah. But that's just like Tyson said.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm afraid every fight. He goes, if you go in there not afraid, he goes, you're not a good fighter because you're not thinking that something can go wrong. Does that make sense?
Kind of. Yeah. And I do agree with that a little bit,
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with Tyson. If he came in and goes,
I'll agree with Tyson, man. Come on, man. Everyone's human. But no, it depends on an individual, because the reality is that a certain individual can do things that another individual can't, because they learn how to tweak and they learn how to understand the knowledge that was passed down, and then they'll do surprising.
That's just like the one Thai fighter. I say his name wrong. Is it Sanchai?
Sanchai? Yeah, Sanchai.
You know, I don't know if that dude's ever afraid in there, because one, he's got like 300 something fights, lost like 25 and 2 draws or something like that.
I've lost tons of fights and I've won tons of fights, but the reality is, after the first year, I wasn't scared no more.
It was just
am I going to disappoint myself because I didn't do what I needed to?
So you did have fear. It was just a different kind of fear.
Yeah, well, I guess so. It's a fear because really I was just making sure that I was learning something.
No matter what.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And
most fighters don't do that.
Yeah.
But I learned that as a beginning fighter. I must always learn something every time I go in the gym. I must always study it for a few seconds, minutes, maybe even a day, depending on the motion if I like it or not, or if I could tweak it. Yeah. So those type of understanding is like, it really is not fear-based. Now it's just the fact that, did you disappoint yourself trying to do something?
That's what I was meaning, the fear of disappointing yourself.
Yeah.
That's really,
I guess it's a little bit of fear.
It's just a different kind of thing, really,
self-disappointing.
Yeah. That's like me every time I do a podcast, it's like for the next 2 days, I'm sitting there going, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? I just pick apart every single thing.
That's how I felt with the girlfriend. That's why I don't have one no more. Did I say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll cut that one out because at some point in time, it's either going to work for him that he won't ever get a girlfriend, or some girl be, oh.
No, actually, I don't mind being single right now, bro. I have a lot of goals, and I have a lot of things to accomplish my life missions in a short amount of time. Like, I know my life is going to be short.
Yeah. And I've heard you talk about that before.
Yeah.
So let's get into, we don't have to break down every fight or anything like that, but how many fights did you have?
Technically, I have now 78 by ring fights.
70 ring fights.
Yeah, 78 ring fights.
Now, what would the other ones be considered? And
I had like I've done bare knuckles. I've done some weird stuff. I fought in
warehouse.
Yeah. I fought for a guy with the ankle bracelet and had to go home at 10.
Yeah.
I had to sleep at his house because he didn't have a place for us.
No,
I was like scared a little bit. It was up towards Canada.
Oh yeah.
You get lost in those woods if you want.
I remember going to a cage fight in Missouri.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, see, that'd be some sketch stuff. Right?
The cage was kennel dog cages. All right. They had like the pool noodles on the top. All right. Yeah. They had the construction lights out there before so yeah. So how many fights would you sit there and said you had like that?
Meaning
just
weird?
Just weird, unsanctioned
for
fights.
like a couple years, because my coach from Bigfoot got injured, got something with his legs happened, and he couldn't coach us for a long time. So I got with my little brother Cobb. He's from Art of War here. He's actually also one of those who has showed me how to do more timing and learn how to be have character in a fight game, because I was so robotic, emotional. I was I was the type of just look at it when the interviews came with the cameras and say, what do you think about this guy that you're about to go?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I don't care. You can't. you guys can't pay me for this.
Yeah.
I'm here to fight.
I'm here to give you kicks and
I
punches.
don't care what he said.
You're like, I don't care what his name is.
And this is and then it just became one of my favorite sayings to reporters were like, I don't care. You guys are gonna pay me to
no matter what.
Come here, no matter what.
Win or
lose, I get a paycheck, and then once we get in that ring, he'll realize who he stepped in there with.
Now, let me ask you a question. Did you do? You obviously said that you fought in like Canada and things like that. Where did you fight anywhere else in the world, or was it pretty much United States?
A lot of Canadians. I've gone into mostly America.
Okay.
And but Canada, like I went to the East Coast, Canada, all the way around.
And let me ask you this:
I had an opportunity to go outwards, but I mean,
just didn't.
No, because I had kids.
Yeah.
And their well-being is way more important than mine.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. I've heard this that Canada, these were Muay Thai fights, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That Canada's Muay Thai is totally different.
Oh yeah.
Than what it is here, and I'm sure it's different in Thailand and different in all these other places.
Right.
Why is it so much different?
They take it more serious. Yeah, and they're more traditional.
Okay. Yeah, I just had a. And
really,
you can go watch it on YouTube. Gabriel Vaga.
Yeah.
From Canada. What Glory.
Glory fighter.
Bellator.
Nice.
And now he's in karate combat. He's 10-time champion and stuff like that. So that's always fun. There we go. So I always ask this question. Family, mom and dad, were they supportive of your fighting?
I just have a mom.
Just
I was adopted with just a mom.
Wow.
I never got married.
Wow. She really
she's really a saint. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would have left one of them in the car.
The windows up.
That was an accident. I'm not saying you. I can have one or two gone.
All right. I will cut this out now.
Yeah, please.
No. So, wow. So she was supportive, obviously?
No.
Really?
She was really scared. She didn't want me to do it. Like most moms. Most moms don't want their babies to get hurt. And I understood that. Yeah. So I never invited her, nor did I really tell her until later on in my career where she was okay with hearing that I was going to a fight.
So we've got pretty much, your how and why.
Yeah.
Yep. So what are you doing with martial arts now? What's it doing in your life as the present day?
I've changed. Martial arts, like I said, is vague. And now I am at the level of teaching. I've done my studying. I figure now I know thousands of moves, bro. Do I do them all? No. Is it good for exercise? Yeah, because it's physical. It's motions. It's hard trying to kick hard in a fast pace.
Yeah. Especially when you get older.
Especially
when you get older.
Especially when you get older, you got heart problems. You got gout. you got trigger fingers happening.
Yeah. Well, that's just like with me. Bro. I got what is it, neuropathy in my legs, and I remember there for a while I had to stop coming in because I was kicking that bag and I could barely walk out of here as soon as I'd done like 2 or 3 kicks. So I mean, usually when I talk to people, I don't know much about them at all. I don't do any research. I mean, so I do, because I don't want to ask questions that I already know the answer. I mean, so I know somewhat. Actually, I mean, I do know what your martial arts is now, but what is your goal also? You do little ninjas, do.
I love teaching the kids because the kids, when the light bulb come on, it makes teaching worth it. And it's not just the kids, even with the older guys, when their light bulb comes on, it goes, oh man, that makes sense.
Well, how many times have you done that with me?
And say, right?
You're like, I'm doing something, then I ask you, and you're like, do it this, and I'm like,
right. And and as a teacher, when things like that come up, and then and then they realize that they're doing something even more different at a higher level now. You're literally doing something at a higher level because now you're adding things like more whip to your power up,
more power, more,
conserve your stamina,
maybe turning your hips over more instead of,
stepping
just doing
off
that
to the side for balance and help
Yeah.
to help you out. It's like, and it's simple, but most of us don't understand those methods if you don't learn to slow down to study it.
Yeah.
I guess.
And also with teaching kids and adults, self-defense, because even when you're in here teaching the fighters,
right,
you and Jimmy, Jeanette, the owner of the gym and things,
as a warrior.
Yeah. And he's a humongous monster. I mean, I'm 6'5", like I'm below 450 now, but he's what, 6'8" and what, 280, 290. Yeah.
He's a mountain to climb.
Yeah. I have
just
to,
it's a big guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're also teaching these people how to fight against drug abuse and things like that. And also when you're teaching, when you're teaching the fighters also, I hear both of you sit there and say, well, if you had to defend yourself on the street, this is what you do. Because I've said this many times.
Right.
I'm never going to fight in a cage, even though that I had a few. Mine now is all for self-defense.
Right. And there's different tactics.
Yeah.
Because it's, you don't know in the streets, and you got to be just aware.
Yeah. And you have to, are you, just like my karate teacher also used to tell me, if a really pissed off dude is coming at you, you have to do something totally different. If a drunk dude is like, you're not going to do the same. You're not going to, you're not going to break his neck, his leg, and then, throw him down to the ground. You just push him off. It's like, hey, dude, just go sleep it off or something.
That's funny you said that, because my flashback of being a security guard for one of the bars.
Don't even get me started, because I'm gonna sit there and because what's gonna happen is okay, give me one story, because how tall are you?
5'1".
5'1".
Yeah.
How much was you weighing when you was a bouncer?
140.
Okay, 140. Now, guys, you also have to remember, here in Eugene is where the Oregon Ducks are. How many times did you just get like, dude, get out of my face?
Man, every night. And here's the funny thing is, like, I wasn't a normal bouncer. I was asked by owners because my friends worked there, and they were being harassed for the whole week from a group. And they wanted to make sure they had security. And what else? What else can you do? Your friend, the owner's work friend / work knows a Muay Thai guy and a group of people. So of course, me and a couple of other Muay Thai guys went down there to help.
Yeah, but I'm gonna sit there and say this: people that didn't know you, when they're bringing you in, like, oh, this is gonna be our security, and even a woman's like.
He did. The guys, like, they put me on the door, and we had to, like, when stuff started happening, they had to get we had to throw the tosser and get them out of there and whatnot. And they just laughed when I came up to go help out.
So you're gonna have to leave.
Yeah, here's one funny story. The owner and the head security guard, we were having problems with this guy. He was just drunk, slurring, like you said. It was like picking a fight and stuff. And for me, when I did security guard, I wore gloves so my knuckles didn't tear up. So I could go in the ring and fight. So when I punch the teeth out, it's not cutting my face up, my knuckles up, right? So it's like, all right. So this guy just laughed at me because I was wearing gloves and stuff. He was drunk. And then that's security guard, he was starting to push me and whatnot. And the security guard just looked at me and just smiled and got. Basically, that means take him out to the back alley because the door's closed. Because of course, who went out there is drunk.
Totally
That's exactly what you said. It's like, he's drunk. I'm not gonna hurt him.
Yeah.
He swung at me. I foot jabbed him. He went backwards. I laughed and walked back in the door and locked it.
And he's probably pissed.
Oh yeah, he was mad. He tried to come back into the front door, but then those were bigger guys.
Yeah.
Like your size, they just like picked them up, like, just tossed them and shit.
Oh my gosh. That's I remember the bouncing days too, and that was always fun.
Yeah, 5'1". They laughed at me.
Yeah.
That's a bouncer.
6'5", and when I was doing it, I think it was right around like 280. I was about the same, weight as Jimmy, but I wasn't all cut up like he was. Yeah. So you're also, like I said before, you're also helping kids with the outreach program, the Checker Past outreach program, where you guys are going to school and helping these kids fight to stay off drugs.
It's very important.
And how did you guys get started in that?
The funny thing is, Jimmy's been doing that for years. Like, me and Jimmy started helping out because he didn't realize I did the same thing by myself. Like, I used to go to, I went to Hamlin and started their after school workout with their young kids that stay after school and just keep them there to occupied and whatnot, and teach them martial arts or teach them a physical trait that they can use. Yep. Another tool for people, for kids. And
knowledge is a tool.
Yeah, if you know how to use it.
If you know how to use it, you can use it. You can use your knowledge for two different things, right?
Yeah, and everything is knowledge if you know how to use it.
Yep. Even if it's bad.
Yeah.
You learn from it.
Don't we learn how to do little white lies to our kids? Santa's real.
There's a bunny that's laying eggs.
A leprechaun comes in.
There's a fairy that comes and puts money underneath your pillow when you lose your teeth. Kids are out there just ripping their teeth out because they want to get a Mr. Potato Head.
Dropped I
don't even know if I could say. The only reason I said Mr. Potato Head is because Joe actually said that she wants a Mr. Potato Head, and nice. How many people?
Mr. Potato Head.
Even most adults are like, Mr. Potato Head. I don't even remember that.
What is that? Wait, you never seen Toy Stories? What's wrong with you?
Oh, I guess so. I guess they would be able to get it from Mr. Potato Head. Okay, so maybe what I just said was that maybe it was a white line. No, it's just misinformation is what there was. So you guys are doing that, and obviously you're training fighters.
Yeah. And myself.
And yourself.
Because teaching is a whole new martial arts.
Well, I'm going to sit there and say this. He teaches, and then you will see him stay afterwards and be a student.
Oh, yeah. Like Will Time. Now I'm not your teacher. I'm now a student sparring with you and see if your level is up to what I can bring towards you.
Yeah, or you learn new stuff because I see you like in jiu-jitsu and things like that.
Oh, I'll do jiu-jitsu. I did 2 pro MMAs.
Yeah. And how does work out?
Won one, lost one. And then I just said, at the one I lost, I said, no, that hurt.
Okay,
that hurt, and I'm out.
Yeah, that's weird that you're sitting there saying, a Muay Thai fighter sitting there saying, hey, that hurt,
Yeah, man, they popped my elbow way.
Hey, let me ask you a question. You hear a lot of people with nicknames. What was your nickname?
Iron Legs.
And how did you get that?
Because when I kick people, their shin bones broke.
And let me ask you this.
They told me Iron Legs.
And you didn't call yourself Iron Legs. Somebody else.
Somebody gave me that because it was up in Canada too. Because I was just kicking people hard, and like Mike taught us how to whip and use all our body weight when we kick. Like my older brother, who's little, who's smaller than me, older little brother, could break 2 Louisville Sluggers baseball bats with his shin bones.
That's crazy.
And that's how we trained back in the days. We were kicking trees, hitting ourselves with baseball bats.
So let me ask you this: you was training like Jean-Claude Van Damme was training in kickboxer?
Kind of.
They're just kicking trees.
But we were kicking trees to strengthen up our shin bone.
Yeah, like I see this one guy every once in a while. He's out there kicking metal poles.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's crazy.
That is crazy.
No, my brother kicked a parking sign because he was angry once and bent it. I was like,
hey, that's pretty impressive.
but impressive or dumb? Because I thought it was dumb because like I know I could do that too, but I said no, that looked like it hurt.
Easily
I ain't gonna
break.
hurt
Yeah,
myself.
because that smaller, so yeah, I don't blame you on that. So you're a teacher and a student. And that's what I also like about this gym too, because I get to help people here too. I don't just train. I also like to come in, and I think it's awesome that like
that's
you
part
and Jimmy,
of your martial arts studies.
Yeah,
is to learn to be something more than just a fighter, and a teacher is what everybody becomes a teacher.
Well, even like my wife, I guess she was in here yesterday, and she was actually on the mat helping, hold pads and stuff like that for the kids. So we know what martial arts is doing for you now.
Yes.
Okay.
I use it to change the world. Like I said, when I was little,
you had a path.
I was given a path, and I was asked to help, and I use it.
Sometimes you take a side road
to help.
Yeah, but sometimes you'd like to take a side road.
Many side roads because I'm human, bro. I mean,
sometimes it's not a side road. It's
sometimes the anger escapes.
Now, there's also another question I usually like to ask some people. Before we go into the third question of what it is, what you're going to do with martial arts in the future. And you don't have to go deep into it, but
I'll go.
Not too long. how about like depression and things like that? How do you work through that? Do you have it?
Believe it or not, I tried when I was younger, and I couldn't control my anger and my the devil always has his voices in my ears telling me how worthless I am. Right. Ever. Almost every day.
Yeah.
And I fight it by learning how to say, you know what? I'm not. Look what I have created. And you know what? I'm not.
Look at where you
look who I'm teaching and what is happening.
Or look how your life was to where it is now.
Like, I am very blessed to the point that I have made my life worth it. If I was to die tomorrow,
you'd be all right.
I'd be all right. I would go out this world knowing that I left it a little better.
And you done
because I did. Because that was what I was meant to do from a little kid, and that's what I was asked to do. So therefore, I'm gonna keep on doing it until I die.
Till you die. Until I die. All right. See, so that actually what you just said leads us into the third and final question. Right. What is your plans for martial arts in the future? What are you planning on doing?
I got big plans, bro. The martial arts world is so strong, and it's not utilized
more now than it ever has.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like it got the ears of young, old, everybody.
Yep.
And if you don't, people who are, and they have to hear it anyways.
Yeah. Really, I think it went from, people watching it in movies to where people are like, we don't need to watch it in movies. We can actually do it.
Yes. And see it. Like you can do it on a computer now.
Zoom, everything.
Workout mirror. Yeah.
Hold on for a moment. Joe, do not use that one. Use the phone over there, because the reason why is I'm using this for the internet. Okay. Thank you, baby. I love you. Roll over there and use that phone. All right. Listen, we're almost done. And then I need you to do some stuff with him. I'm going to have him show me a couple things, and then we're packing up and leaving. Okay.
We'll make it quick, Joe.
Hey, and you know what? Maybe I'll take you and get you a couple bean and cheese burritos. Huh? All right. We're almost done, huh? Give me like 5 or 10 minutes. All right. There's no need to cry. Do you need a hug? Do you want to come up here and sit with me while we finish?
You can do that, man. The more the better.
Yeah, we can do that. You can come and sit right here between us.
Sit between us? No.
All right. So we'll finish this. Yeah. So you said you got some big plans. What are your plans?
I want to forge the martial arts world. I want them to learn. Like, back in the days, our schools were so separated from each other. Every martial arts, they didn't care to know what the other one's doing, or just to even know that they're each helping getting kids off the street and making them better people.
Yeah.
They weren't even talking to each other like that. But now you got people like me, Jimmy, who, like, for me, I used to teach at Midtown. I teach privately. I'll go to schools and do school stuff and stuff. I teach everywhere. And it's not just stuck to one gym.
Yeah. So pretty much your goals for the future is to keep
for the martial arts world to come together a little more and realize that they are doing more help. They need to step up and be more helpful because they know they're already doing it. They just don't want to help each other be a help grow the we like to give, me and Jimmy like to give back to the community, and that's what we try to teach, is to help you once you get yourself in a good footing, help and give back, so that way you could help these younger kids do something better. Like, that's why we allow you guys to teach it, because then it's teaching you respect for the younger kids. Like with the teenagers, when you're teaching them, you got to learn to talk their way, their style,
and show them
the way they
figure out how they want to learn and stuff, and show them
without pushing them and overcomplicating their brain.
Very well.
Yeah.
Well, Reni, I think this was fun.
It was.
And I think we're going to have to do this again at some other point in time. And also,
anytime.
I thank you for being on. I actually get to do a handshake with the person that I'm doing it with. Yes. Usually I just give them all that because it's all done on Zoom. But Checker Past MMA, Springfield, Oregon.
Come check us out.
Reni, look at his Facebook. What is it? Jimmy Jeanette MMA, or is it Checker Past MMA? Checker Past. And me and Reni's going to do a couple different things here, and we'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.